I see your chicken noodle soup and raise you a different chicken noodle soup. Today we're making Miến. Light and comforting, this bowl of cellophane noodles topped with shredded chicken and mushrooms in a clear, flavorful broth is a delicious and simple dish to make at home. The broth is made by poaching chicken with ginger, shallot, and green onion. The simplicity of this broth makes it a super versatile base for several dishes like cháo gà or soup măng cua. Once cooked, the chicken is then cooled and shredded. Some people will add this shredded chicken to the bowl as is, but my mom likes to sauté it with wood ear and shiitake mushrooms along with extra seasoning to add even more flavor, and I can't have it any other way. We Vietnamese will eat hot broths year-round, but especially now that the weather is getting cooler, all I want is noodle soups. For this recipe, you'll need a whole chicken, ginger, shallot, green onion, wood ear and shiitake mushrooms, Miến noodles, bouillon powder, fish sauce, ground black pepper, vegetable oil, cilantro, and sriracha or chilies for serving. For Miến noodles, there are two main types. The first is Miến rau, made from arrowroot, and the second is Miến đậu xanh, made from mung bean. The first type is thicker and bouncier. I generally prefer it for noodle soup and sauteed dishes like this one. The second type is thinner and softer. I prefer using it in fillings for dishes like nem rán. However, mung bean Miến noodles are much more common outside of Vietnam. If you can't find any arrowroot Miến, we couldn't for today either. These mung bean ones will work fine. Let's get started. Add the wood ear and shiitake mushrooms to a bowl and pour in boiling water. Cover, then set aside to rehydrate. Add the dry Miến noodles to a large bowl, cover with room temperature water, set aside to rehydrate. Without removing the skin, cut ginger into thin slices. Peel and trim off the dried tops and root ends of the shallots. To a large pot, add all but 2 of the ginger slices, followed by the chicken legs if you have them, then the chicken. Fold the green onion stalks in half and insert into the cavity of the chicken, along with the 2 reserved pieces of ginger. Add the shallots and salt. Pour in the water. If your pot is not large enough to hold all of the water, add in as much as possible, then set the rest aside to be added in when the chicken is done cooking and is removed from the broth. Place the pot on the stove and bring to boil over medium-high. Skim off any impurities that float to the surface. Once the water is at a gentle boil, reduce heat to medium-low, add bouillon powder, cover, and let simmer for 30 minutes. While the chicken is cooking, strain and rinse the mushrooms. Gather a few pieces of wood ear mushrooms and layer them on top of one another, thinly slice into strips. Thinly sliced shiitake mushrooms. Here are the mushrooms all sliced up. Cut to separate the green and white parts of green onions. For the whites, cut into 3 cm lengths, then quarter them lengthwise. For the greens, chop into 1/2 centimeter pieces. Pick the tender tops and leaves of cilantro and discard the stems. Roughly chop. Trim off the root end, then thinly slice shallot. This is what our chicken and broth looks like after 30 minutes. Carefully remove the chicken to a wire rack and let sit until cool enough to handle. Remove the ginger and shallot pieces from the broth with a slotted spoon and season your broth to taste with fish sauce. Cover with a lid, then turn the stove down to the lowest setting to keep the broth warm while we prepare the rest. Once the chicken is cool enough to handle, remove the green onion and ginger slices from inside. Using a good knife or cleaver, separate the legs and wings from the chicken. I like to keep and serve these whole because they don't shred as well as the breasts, but taste great dipped in a salt, pepper, and lime juice combination. Next, cut out the breasts. Remove as much meat from the bones as you can. I like to save the bones for congee. This is a great way to make the most out of the chicken. Peel the skin off the breasts. With your hands, shred the chicken breast and any meat from the body into thin strips. Slice the skin that you pulled from the breast into thin strips. Heat vegetable oil in a pan over medium, then add the sliced shallots and sauté until fragrant, about 1 minute. Add the sliced mushrooms and sauté for 3 minutes. Add the shredded chicken. Season with bouillon powder, ground black pepper, and fish sauce. Sauté for 5 minutes, mixing to ensure that all the seasonings are well distributed. When finished, turn off the heat and set aside. Strain the noodles. To assemble, add 1 serving of noodles to a strainer, dip into the broth, and stir with chopsticks for 10 seconds to soften and warm up the noodles. Add the noodles to a bowl. Add some of the chicken and mushroom mixture on top of the noodles. Ladle in the broth. And top with the cilantro and green onion. Enjoy immediately while hot. Let's taste. Noodles. Add the toppings. So good. Make sure you subscribe to our channel and visit our website for more Vietnamese and French recipes.